Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 510 of the DrunkNerds podcast. I'm, as always, I'm Tyler. And join me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
I'll tell you what, man. I feel like I need to improve upon a couple different things. But what I mean by that is there's a couple of freaking appliances I got, man. They're just going out. Like my freaking TV. I'm gonna need to get a new TV. Gonna be replacing my computer chair too because I freaking bent the frame of the damn thing without even realizing it. I mean, granted, with that news aside and stuff, I'm actually feeling pretty freaking good, dude. Had a chance to play a little bit of the
Good.
Splatfest this morning for getting the first tastes of Splatoon
Oh, yeah.
3.
Okay.
And I'll go into more details about it with what we've been playing, but I'll tell you what, man, I had a fun time this morning.
Good. Good.
So, how have you been doing, Tyler?
It's all right. Mixed bag, it was a long week of work as always, but
Yeah.
I went and hung out with Justin, my best friend. Haven't been able to see him. First time I've seen him since we were talking about it. We realized it was the week before Memorial Day.
Oh,
Was the last time
wow.
we hung out. So almost three. So literally, the last time we hung out was the week before Memorial Day, and then we hung out again the week before Labor Day.
Right.
So, um, you're getting older. He's got a wife and 3 kids, and he works the night shift. So,
Yeah.
it's tough. But it was nice to hang out with them, play some frisbee golf, drink some beers, and just bullshit it, caught up. It's always a good time because you can just talk to your friend for 6 hours and not actually talk about anything. Which is always fun. Bittersweet. We had to. I mentioned last week we had to say goodbye to our dog Jack. So that was tough. That was not fun. Um, I don't want to spend too much time on it because I'm gonna start crying. I can already feel it coming again. But that was um, yeah, that was hard. But
Understandable.
it's yeah. So it's never a good time. So I've done it before. I was fortunate to have to do it once before. Um, Not a feeling I'm looking forward to doing anytime again soon. So but yeah, I mean, clanging and banging as always. Just make it through another day. I played a little bit. I got to jump in that Splatfest just a little bit as well. I kind of wish it was a full weekend thing.
Yeah.
Um, because
Yeah,
like I was
really.
looking forward to playing it. Not complaining, but spent the whole day hanging out with Justin and stuff. So, not the whole day, but a large chunk of the day. So I was like, I wanted to play like Midnight Fight Express, and I ain't got plans to play that. So it's like I feel like I was cramming a lot of things, and the second, like the last few hours. Then we had our fantasy football draft today, so I was
Hmm.
very busy day to day. It was a good day. I'm not complaining, but man, I wish you could just give me like make it a Saturday Sunday thing because I'd really love to play a little bit. Like get jump like 'cause I only played like 2 matches, so not too much. But yeah, no, doing all right. As I was saying. So but this is a video game podcast where we get together every week to talk about video games. Thank you guys so much for listening, watching, whatever you're watching us at. We appreciate it. If you look down in the show notes, you will see the links to all of our social accounts, our wherever pods are cast, all down there: Apple, Spotify, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Extra Life, all down there. YouTube, if you're listening to us on like an Apple or Spotify or something like that. Um, we're on all those places. Please go down and click on those links. Please give us a nice big 5-star review, a comment, a like, a share. Shares being the big one, honestly, more than anything. What really helps us out. More that just means more people can watch us. But like the 5 stars, the likes, all that helps us out. Subscriptions, whatever. Subscribe, not paying, but like the free subscribes, hitting those little buttons helps us out a lot because that just helps us get viewed more. Helps out with the algorithm, and we can really use that. We really appreciate it if you do that for us. But Gables, like I
Yes.
said, this is a video game podcast.
Mm.
So why don't we wait? That might have been the shortest intro ever.
Yeah, no
Uh,
shit.
so why don't we just jump into the? But we got some. I mean, not a lot to talk about, but some juicy topics this week.
Mm.
Um, so Gamescom was this week. We had the opening night live, which is Jeff Keighley's thing, which he started a couple years ago. Um, and this is the big one that takes place in Europe. So he had that. He had like a 2-hour event. I don't want to talk. I'm not gonna sit there and spend. Um, I don't want to go through like piece by piece, but Gables, I'm gonna run through the stuff. Once again, fanbyte.com, Clutch, Imran the Don Khan, Clutch as well, making the best articles for podcasters in the world, where he literally just puts everything that happened in one article instead of making an article for each individual thing that was announced.
Hmm.
Um, which I understand the game. When you're running a website, clicks is everything. So you want to make an individual uh, article for everything. But when you just want to do a podcast and you want to just have everything in one place for you, Imran, you're the man. So I'm gonna every time I know I've said it like 20 times about him doing this, but every time he does it, he deserves a shout out for that. Um, so yeah. So anyways, we start off with this is Jeff Keighley's event. You know, he does Summer Game Fest. He does this, and he does Game Awards. Started off, we had a game by Leslie Benzies, Benzies, I believe is how to say his name. He was like one of the big, kind of not the head honcho, but a top guy at the Rockstar North that they like did like GTA 4 online. Or I'm sorry, he made GTA 4. He was a big part of like GTA 4 Red Dead Redemption, but also was a big part of GTA 5 online rather. Um, so he started his own studio. They're making a game called Everywhere. Um, Gables, like if you something you want to talk about, stop me
Okay.
and we can talk about it. If not, I'm going to run through things. But I just want to mention this. I was super confused by this game. Like there was like gameplay of like look like almost like Fortnite style graphics, but like you're like driving a car and then you're shooting, and then like it cuts to like now you're in like the real world, like more realistic graphics.
Mm.
And I'm like, what the fuck is happening in this game? I don't know what this game is.
Sounds like a game lacking in
Um,
purpose.
so then he was on stage. The Leslie Benese, sorry, I don't know your last name. He was on the stage and they were asking. Jeff Keighley said, "We're all a little confused about your game. Can you explain to us what was going on there?" And he just kind of like said a lot of word salad and never explained what the game is. So I don't know what the fuck the game is. It was a very baffling way to start. I understand like there's a game you have to play to like get these games, and like he's you know he's got some big credits on his name. So having him there is, I get why you want to have him there, but I don't know. There's a rule with like, you know, Nintendo created this like style. I mean, we've always had like, you know, my E3 events, stuff like that. But the general rule of these is you start with a banger, the middle is a banger, and then you end with a banger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this was not a banger to start off with. I
Oh
think
no.
everybody was like, okay, I don't know what's happening here, but okay.
Sounds like a wet
So
fart.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts on that were, Gables, on that one, but I was just kind of confused.
Honestly, I did not really hear too much of that game coming out in that regards in terms of information. So I don't have really too much on that one.
Okay. Next up here they announced a Doom MMO called Doom Awakening. Um, they announced kind of cool. It's got the back full of buttons. They're basically just mimicking the Xbox Elite, which let me tell you, Gables, people seem to like that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just want to like, if something's really good, if something's well made, and people like it, I don't
Right.
have a problem with you just copying it and not just, you know, being different for different sake. So,
Well, let me
um,
tell you something, man. With that new DualSense, that Elite DualSense controller that Sony introduced in that regards, I got kind of confused at it first of all because the way they're lighting of it. I mean, I eventually saw the actual color of it, but with the dark lighting of it, it really reminded me of the Ouya controller scheme. I'm
no,
like,
Jesus Christ.
is this a fucking Ouya controller that I had to look at the couple different pictures? I'm like, oh no, it's just a gray sort of like controller color scheme with like the multiple different like buttons. And what I do like about it though is the joysticks you can actually insert and out, kind of like how you can take it apart and stuff like that. You just take like one control stick like out super easy
Mm,
and then just put another different style of control stick into that other slot. That's kind of different than what the Xbox Series, like the Xbox Elite controllers do, to where you just have to pull the control sticks like out, like the big old thumb nubs and stuff like that. You can replace that with anything else, plus the D-pad and everything. But I do like the idea that they're coming out with a Pro controller. But the thing about it was they unveiled it, but they didn't say anything in regards to a date about it.
yeah,
And on top of that, we do not know the pricing of it currently, which if it's anywhere close to where that series like that elite controller that Xbox has got, like around the 150
the
to about
170.
180 range or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's perfectly fine in my opinion, as long as it has the most decent quality terms of quality of like controllers, like feel, in my honest opinion, the ergonomics of it. I mean, one of the biggest appeals of like the the my Xbox Elite controller that I got going here, it's like it feels really comfortable because the ergonomic, like the grips and everything else like that, plus the buttons, they're not like too stiff or anything else like that. They more or less are accustomed to like large hands and stuff. That's what I'm kind of hoping the most for this like the
Yeah.
Sony controller, because I really do want to buy like a pro controller thing from my PS5, because that aspect to where I don't have to like rebuy a controller every couple of years as I wear out the fucking control sticks, or in the
Yeah.
case of Nintendo Switch's case, like just doing a fucking Joy-Con drift with like the first couple of years.
Yeah. Or immediately.
But
Yeah.
like I've stated before, man, all I want to see now is like a date and a price.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it's gonna be tied into like I could see God of War Ragnarok being like that time frame for that
Possible.
one. Put it out with the big game, you know. Yeah, I mean, like it, I understand like it's good and it sounds like it's worth the money. Like I have like my PS5 the I can't remember what it's called the
Pulse
PS5
headset.
yeah, thank you, Pulse headset. Like I love that thing. It was $100. It was worth it. And but it's like I already own 3 DualSense controllers. I just bought my pink one last month. Um, already own 2 Xbox Series controllers. I just bought the Forza Horizon one last year.
Hmm.
So it's just kind of like, and those things are like $70, $60 for those things. I think the Forza one was $80. I love it though. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I love the pink DualSense one. So it's just hard to like um to spend that much money on a controller. But like like it's not like I'm not dissing it. It's just it's a personal thing for me. But like it
Right.
sounds people love these things. Like I would like the back pedal stuff sounds sick. I wish they would just like I was that because at the end of the PS4 life cycle they added like you can buy for $30 the little back bumper things
Yeah.
you can hook to your controller. I wish they would like do that for the DualSense eventually, where it's like because I mean like I don't know like I'm fine with what I have, and like if people want more, that's awesome.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
exactly the point. This may not be for the person that has multiple like dual sense controllers in that regards, but if it's for someone that really wants a good solid quality controller and stuff, if it remains like to that type of extent and stuff, I could potentially see this PlayStation controller doing fairly well. I mean,
oh
I
yeah,
I look at the comparisons with the Xbox One and stuff, and that controller I bought in 2020 and stuff, and that thing has lasted me for over 2 years now, and I've had no
yeah,
issues with it whatsoever.
yeah, yeah. And it does come with the like a little carrying case, which the series or the Xbox Elite controller comes with,
Mm,
and it charges your controller as well. So
yep.
pretty cool. That's a pretty awesome thing. That was like the big thing from Sony in this thing. I don't believe we had any Xbox. I'll remember if I guess when we go through this. But next up, we had more Callisto Protocol. They had more gameplay for this one. Actually showed some like more combat in this. Um, you have like a gravity gun looking thing, which looks
Okay.
kind of cool. It's just a game. This is a game for me. It's like I didn't need to see this. I'm sold on the game, so like it's just like I don't. The more you show me, it's just like you're not like I can't get any more wrecked than I already am. So
Right.
we're just wasting time. Um, Next up, we had The Lords of the Fallen, which is a sequel to Lords of the Fallen. This is not made by the same people. Bless you, Gables. He's sneezing. Um,
Yeah.
but this is not made by the same people. So there was 2 teams, I guess, that worked in the first game, Lords of the Fallen, which I heard is actually like a pretty well made like Souls game.
Yeah.
I remember it was like a PS Plus game that came out.
Yeah, it
Uh,
definitely was a PS Plus game at one point. It's one of those games to where you don't think twice about it. You just go through, add it to your library, and then if you have nothing to play at that point, you just download it and try it out.
yeah, and I always hear about people like it's kind of the thing where it's like people like loves like the Souls games,
Hmm.
and then they just want like when people make a pretty good comparable like a tier below, like a B Souls game,
Hmm.
um, like they're pretty happy with those. So I think it sounds like Lords of the Fallen was a very good Souls like game.
Yeah.
So I'm sure people like this, but like basically one of the 2 teams, like I said, there's 2. I can't remember the name of the teams, but there's 2 different studios working on it together. Now one of those studios is working on it. But it's not Lords of the Fallen 2. It's the Lords of the Fallen. But it was a CG trailer, so we have no idea Like it looks like it's taking place in like that same kind of style that we're used. Looks very much like it's taking place in like a Dark Souls style
Mm.
of world, but we have no idea. Like there was no gameplay or anything. Moving out, which is actually like people love that game. It's a kind of like what's that cooking game that's Overcooked? Overcooked?
Oh, okay. Overcooked. Yes.
Yeah, so it's a very much Overcooked, but it's like you're moving your friends style thing, and they have a game called Moving Out that came out I believe last year. That people love, and I want to play that game, but those games give me anxiety. But they're making a Moving Out 2 that's coming next year. Um, so yeah, and then unfortunately Randy Pitchford came on the stage at this point,
Oh God.
and he started talking about he's Randy Pitchford just being Randy Pitchford, which is awful. Hopefully this time he didn't drop a USB stick with child pornography on it again,
Ugh.
which is a thing people just seem to forget about. But they announced that the new Tales of the Borderland, which is like people don't remember that was maybe like one of the best Telltale games ever made. They did that 2016, 17 maybe. There's a new one happening, but this time it's not being made by. This is all new. This is not new news, but like Telltale's not making it, obviously because Telltale is not Telltale anymore. But we'll talk about more about Telltale later. Um, this is actually being made by Gearbox. It looks like it's gonna be new characters. I think the old characters might be in it, but it sounds like this is like a. I remember we talked about this last week. It leaked on Amazon. The date leaked. It's coming out October 21st. So
Okay.
we got a trailer for that one. It's seemed fine. I wasn't blown away by what we saw. I don't know, Gables. What's your hype level for a um, new Tales of Borderland?
Kind of low, to be perfectly honest with you,
Mm,
because it's not by Telltale and it's in-house, and I'm really not too sure how they're going to continue on from what they initially have. But that's basically because I'm not really too interested with the Borderlands franchise right at this moment in time.
mm,
3 came out, it came and went and stuff. It was disappointing to some of the most hardcore fans. All the DLC stuff released for 3 and everything, and I just haven't really felt tempted to really play it. So
yeah, yeah.
with this game, I'm like, hey, that's cool. It's a sequel to one of the games I loved playing through back in the last generation with Tales of the Borderlands, but no Telltale involved and really not really too sure what direction they're leading it. I'm not really too excited about it.
Yeah. I'm with you. Like, we're two people that love the first two Borderland
Mm.
games, and um, I couldn't believe that you played the Tales of the Borderland because that's not typically your game, let alone you loved it more than I did. Um, and no, I loved it, but you really loved it. Yeah, like I mean, the fact if you would have told me that we get a sequel to that, I would have been over the moon. But just in context of like, oh, it's not Telltale. It's not the team that made it. It's Gearbox themselves making it, and it's coming out. I think it's gonna be $40. So it's not a full price game,
Right.
which is cool. But yeah, I mean, if like things come out and if it comes out and the reviews are positive, then cool. It'll be a game I'll check out. But I'm not like gonna rush to check that. It might be a game I like find if I see it for like $20 a few months later, I might check it out. Next up here, Dying Light 2 Stay Human DLC coming out October 13th. Tortunga, A Pirate's Tale is coming out. Okay, Sonic Frontiers a new trailer is officially coming out November 8th. This is something that I mentioned on the podcast months ago.
Uh-huh.
Not months ago, maybe like 2 months ago, that this was the rumored date. And then last week there was some possible advertisement stuff coming out for November 15th. I mentioned that last week where I'm like, hey, like the thing I've been seeing here has been November 8th. Turns out November 8th is the date, in fact. So yeah, coming out the day before. I made this joke like 6 weeks ago, whatever it was, 2 months ago, whenever I first mentioned this was November 8th is the day where games go to die because that's coming out, and then also that Ubisoft pirate game. I forgot the title, but
Crossbones, I think it is.
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Skull and Bones.
So November 8th is just a day for games to die, but also get that holiday boost. Um, so that's happening, and also it's coming out the day before God of War.
That
So
game is going to be
uh,
absolutely skipped over. I mean, granted, the
yeah, I
gameplay.
think it's gonna sell
Yeah.
because it's Sonic, and I think there's even more fans now. Well, there is more fans now because of the movie. But
Right. I mean, granted, from what we did see, it looked fine. It looked okay from what initial gameplay stuff, but at the same time, they position themselves to where they're a day before God of War Ragnarok. That is absolutely the most asinine thing they could have done if they wanted to get more profits in regards to that stuff. Because most, like, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I'm just going to speak for the majority of people that do have some form of interest in God of War. They're going to want to play Ragnarok day one.
mm, yeah,
And why play Sonic Frontiers? That's the thing.
yeah. Why? What? Like I mentioned last week, Sonic fans are in a abusive relationship, so they'll play it. Um, Next up, Quantic Dream is officially publishing games now, and the first game they've announced that they're publishing is a game called Under the Waves. It's a completely CGI trailer. I don't know what's going on in that game.
Mm,
We got some gameplay for Goat Simulator 3.
okay.
So yeah, looks like more Goat Simulator, which hey, people that love Goat Simulator will love. Look at you, Gables.
Well,
Uh,
yeah. Just kind of want to see a little bit of the gameplay before I initially decide upon anything of it. Because, well,
yeah,
it's a Goat Simulator, but at the same time, if it's not just filled with just crazy over the wall thing like the original one was, I mean, I'm not going to be too interested. But gotta see some more than just the reveal trailer.
yeah, yeah. So, but we got some gameplay on this one now. So I mean, looks
Oh,
like people, if you want more of that, you'll get it. Return to Monkey Island got a release date September 19th,
okay.
but if you pre-order the game, you get horse armor, which is cool. The cool thing though is the horse they said in the trailer though the horse armor doesn't actually do anything; it just sits in your item list. So that's pretty cool.
Oh my God, it's been over 10 years and this freaking Elder Scrolls 4 thing, dude, with the fucking horse armor. It's still coming up. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny. It only works because it's Return of the Monkey Island because it's such
Mm,
an old franchise that only they can make a joke from 20 years ago. Uh, but it works because of who they are.
yep.
Next up, we had a game called Friends versus Friends that looks kind of fucking cool. It's like a deck building FPS game,
Okay.
like a battle royale.
Okay.
I don't know. I thought it looked kind of cool. I was shocked. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna like play it, but I was kind of like, all right, you have my attention. Liza P. This is a very much Bloodborne looking sound. Like, I mean, they are not even like trying to hide the fact that they're trying to be Bloodborne.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um, this is a Pinocchio game.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
this is a
but
Pinocchio
like
game, all right.
you play as Pinocchio, and what's interesting was actually the coolest sounding thing of this is they don't even talk about. You have to read like the blog posts and stuff about this,
Yeah.
where based off of if you like, it sounds like there are options in the game you can like pick this, like you can kind of like dialogue options. I'm not sure, but there's options you can pick, and the more you lie, the more you turn into like you turn into like a robot or something. I'm not sure if you turn into like a puppet or a robot or what. But it sounds like there are like gameplay wise, there's more benefits to it. Like you become stronger or something like that. But the more you tell the truth, the more you become a real boy. Um,
Huh.
and then obviously, I think it sounds like there's like obviously because you're becoming human, you're not as strong. So that's kind of cool sounding. It's coming to Game Pass day one. The Snitch leaked this about a week ago.
Huh.
It's coming out next year. Looked kind of cool. Like Geppetto was just in there, and then they like teased Jiminy Cricket, which is kind of fucking funny. But I don't know. That game looks wild. I don't think I'm gonna like it because it's like not a big Souls guy, but I don't like the difficulty of the Souls games rather. So yeah,
Well,
but I don't know.
what
The
I
game looks kind of cool.
what I can say about that is it's a weird concept. It's a Soulsborne sort of game to where it's like it's gonna be have these boss battles, it's gonna be having this kind of combat and stuff to where it's gonna be hard in a lot of the various sections until you get used to the whole level up mechanics or the whole like gameplay quirks and stuff like that. But yeah, this is definitely worth at least a download and play on Game Pass. That's
Oh
what I
yeah,
would think.
yeah, yeah. It's coming to Game Pass. And what do we call Game Pass, Gables?
Oh, the best deal in gaming.
You're goddamn fucking right. Um, oh, I gotta mention this real fast. I gotta talk shit real fast here. I'm sorry. I was talking to Justin about Game Pass. I would not refer to it as Game Pass to him.
Uh,
I just refer to it as the best deal in gaming. Gables, what if I told you Justin is morally against Game Pass?
I wouldn't be too surprised about that. I mean,
What,
hell.
right? What a piece of shit, you know?
I'm not gonna go that route, but still.
I mean, no, I'm gonna say it. If you don't like Game Pass, fuck you. Fuck you. It's the best goddamn deal in gaming. But
Well, it's definitely fun
we're
for
gonna
rental
play.
purposes, that's for sure.
But we're gonna fucking spend $50 a year on goddamn the Nintendo expansion pack.
Well, that's true too. I mean,
Piece of
hell,
shit.
he gets a lot of use out of
This
that.
isn't anything I didn't say to his face, by the way. I don't want. I'm not actually talking shit. I said this to his face. But it's the goddamn best deal in gaming. Come on, get on and get the fuck out. Uh, next up here, Stranded: Alien Dawn. Kind of a really cool looking. My pet peeve is people freaking out about CG trailers. Like, someone was freaking out. I saw people like tweeting about like the Lord of the Fallen. That game looks badass. I'm like, it was a fucking CG trailer. Um, I'm sorry. It's been my pet peeve for like a decade or more
Ever since the
of
Killzone
just
2
like,
trailer.
yeah. I mean, like, I understand it when it's like a proven IP. When Overwatch 2 drops a CG trailer, I get it because it's
Yeah.
Overwatch 2, or it's got Blizzard behind it. Or when Spider-Man 2 gets announced and it's got fucking Venom in it,
Yeah.
and Miles Morales and Spider-Man are working together. That's fucking awesome because they are known IPs.
Yes.
I can understand that. Like, there's hype to that. But when you are a little to no idea what you are IP, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear how badass this game's gonna be. Badass. This game's cool. We don't know what the fucking game is. And Stranded: Alien Dawn will give that to you because they had a very interesting kind of like, they were setting up a really cool like plot idea of Stranded: Alien Dawn, where like
Okay.
you land on a planet and come to find out like you're like this is a new planet. You like, I don't know what exactly happened, but like you're like, oh, you're landing on a planet and like you're the first people on this planet, basically like the last of the whatever the humans went here to colonize this world. Like, that sounds kind of cool, but there's like shooting and shit going on. And like, oh, it's actually a farming simulator top-down shooter game.
I feel nothing after that.
Right? So this is why when people like freak out about there's an early access coming out in October. This is why when people freak out about shit, like, I get it because like it's cool. Like, that looks cool. Speaking of next year, Atlas Falling, it was like a 5-minute CG trailer, not exactly 5 minutes. It was probably like 2 minutes, and then we have like 8 seconds of gameplay that people just like sliding in a desert. I don't fucking know. Homeworld 3 also was there.
Right.
There's more Genshin Impact shit happening. Now I'm in a mood. Honkai Star Rail was shown off. It's a free-to-play RPG. Go fuck yourself.
Jeez, dude.
Sorry, I'm in a
many
mood now.
beers this night?
I've only had 5. I did drink quite a bit while playing frisbee golf though. Sorry, man. CG trailer things, it's a pet peeve of mine. But a game that looked really cool, Gables.
Okay.
We got a gameplay trailer of an entire boss fight of High on Life.
Okay.
That's the Rick and Morty people's new game that's coming to
Yes.
Game Pass. What do we call Game Pass, Gables?
The best deal in gaming.
You're goddamn fucking right. Don't give me kind of like an attitude about it. It's the best goddamn deal in gaming. You can be excited about it because it is the best deal in gaming. This is made by Squanch Games. The people that like they made some pretty cool like VR games. They're really funny. It's the guy that like the guy that runs this studio also is like the Rick and Morty. He makes Rick and Morty. The game of the talking guns and knives and shit. They did a whole boss fight for this. Fucking hilarious. It just got delayed from October to like December 13th, I want to say.
Okay.
But it is coming, like I said, to Game Pass. I'm not gonna make Gable say it because he's getting annoyed. But I don't know what's going on with me now. I'm in a mood. But yeah, the boss fight looked really cool. I loved like there was like a video coming out where like the guy was holding a gun. He kept trying to shoot this kid,
Okay.
and he's like, the gun was talking back to him. He's like, I'm not gonna shoot the kid. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Don't shoot the fucking kid. And then like he kept clicking the button, but the kid was like being really annoying and talking shit to him. And then finally he clicked the button and it shoots the kid. And it was like, you see, you happy now? We shot the kid. it was really funny. I'm all aboard this game. I don't know how good it's gonna be, how fun it's gonna be to play, but like I just love like the fact that like the knife like talks to you and shit. Like it's I don't know. This game
Dude, as long as it's
looks
not like a
fan.
constant to where it's just nonstop them talking and stuff like that, and it's like
Oh
the
yeah,
hammer's not hitting, like it, like not hitting you exactly, because that type of game, it looks promising in regards to what the gameplay stuff I have seen of it and stuff. My overall thing about it is like I'm all willing to try it and stuff, but if all of the weapons or something are not stop talking for any type of long duration of time and to constantly narrate what you're doing and stuff, that would be annoying really quick, in my opinion. But
yeah. I agree with that. Like it's a very thin line they have to balance of
right,
funny and annoying. So it's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be kind of like Borderlands in a way, where like a lot of people are turned off by the humor, and a lot of people love the humor. Um, I think it's gonna be a lot of that. Like I know a lot of people that hate Borderlands 2 comedy,
right.
um, and a lot of people that love it. So it's gonna be a tough balancing act. But ooh, got chill there. Ooh. So next up here we got Telltale, like the new Telltale's new game, The Expanse,
Okay.
based off of unfortunately bad TV show that everybody seems to love because they have bad taste. Um, they showed off some gameplay for that. They said it's pre-alpha footage though. And God, I hope so because I do not love the art style. I don't like the art style. I'm not asking for the old art style. I'm just asking for better art style. But that's happening. But Deck Nine's working with them, which I love. Deck Nine. They're the people that made Life is Strange, True Colors, and Before the Storm, two of
Right.
my favorite games ever. So I'm all aboard with that. Next up here, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
The
Um,
obscure
that
1980s horror movie.
yeah. So Jeff Grubb um, mentioned this like a month ago on the podcast. And I'm like, okay, that's random. And then like nobody talked about it, and then it got announced here.
Yep.
And like one of the guys that worked on like one of the like head guys from the Friday 13th game that
Yeah.
came out a few years back, he is the main guy working on this. So
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm
February.
assuming I'm assuming it's gonna be like what we're thinking, like the Evil Dead game or the Predator game or the Friday 13th game. It's gonna be like a one person plays at me. I don't know. I guess because there's multiple clowns. Maybe I don't know how they're gonna work out actually. Um,
Well, if it could be like a Dead by Daylight thing where it's like multiple killers, multiple survivors, and stuff like that, I mean, I would think that
yeah,
would work that way.
yeah. I just don't know what the numbers are gonna work out.
The whole 4v1 aspect.
Yeah. Next up we had Scars Above. This looks like it looks really good, but it looks like they just copied Returnal.
Okay.
So, but I don't know. I thought it looked kind of cool, but I didn't like Returnal. So if it's like, I thought Returnal was like a cool game. I just don't want to do like the rogue stuff, the roguelike stuff. So just take if like we had like a Returnal, but you take out the roguelike, I'm all in. Next up, a game called Word Song is happening. Moving on. Age of Empire 4. They announced some new expansions for that. Don't give a fuck. Gotham Knights. Oddly, like, they had like probably the coolest thing we've seen from Gotham Knights. The best has been shown since the first reveal they had like 2 years ago
Right.
in the Nug Dome or what the fuck it was called. Um, when the gameplay showed off really cool, and then
Right.
ever since then it just seems like they've been like showing it poorly for a long time. This was a trailer focusing on like all the villains. Like you had Mr. Freeze, you had Harley Quinn,
Right.
you had the um not the Sandman,
Scarecrow.
Muck.
Oh,
No,
Clayface.
Clayface. Yes, he looks like Muck to me. The Pokemon.
Well, I guess
So
there's
he
resemblance.
is. I'm gonna call him Cum. Cum is in the game. Cum Face is in the game.
No.
Um,
Oh, that would be a horrifying Batman villain.
I don't know. That would be. That's probably maybe that's his origin story. Uh, um.
Been watching heavy metal
So
Jesus
yeah,
for
but
too long. Anyway.
yeah. They they show up. They really focus on the villains and some of the boss fights in the trailer, which like I don't know. It's working. I'm a dumb consumer. You show me some cool shit. I'm a little more on board than I was before. I'll forget the other 10 things I didn't like that you showed me. But oddly enough, they bumped it up. It went from October 25th to October 21st,
By 4 days.
which is
Okay.
weird. You don't see that too often. I
No.
mean, it happens, but it's like once every few years this happens. Um, so yeah, that's coming out. What sucks though is they moved from like the 25th, where they're kind of on their own date, to like the 21st, where There's like 4 other. This is the biggest game of the day, but there's like 4 other games coming out that day of note. So like Tales of the Borderlands coming out that day, Scorn's coming out that day, and there was a couple other games that I can't think of that are coming out that day. But I don't know. It's very weird. It's just a weird thing that's happening. Where Winds Meet is coming is a game that was shown off. Actually looks pretty cool. But it's like kind of reminds me of like Ghost of Tsushima, but it's China instead of Japan. Um, so, but yeah, the gameplay looked fantastic. Hideo Kojima showed up. He's making a podcast now. So
Well, hey, that'd be kind of interesting.
it will be dubbed though. But if you're little only bitches like dubbed shit, you gotta. I want subtitles for my podcast. So yeah, that's happening. So cool for whatever. I don't know. Whatever. Make a good game, Kojima. Wow.
Damn, yeah.
I'm in a mood.
Yeah, you're in the zone tonight, dude.
Fuck. Oh man, I insulted Kojima. My God, I'm sorry. I love you, Kojima. Oh wow. Park Beyond is happening. It was literally a fucking CGI trailer, Gables, for a goddamn fucking amusement park builder. Why are we getting a CGI trailer for that, Gables? It's amusement park fucking. Show me the goddamn game. Ugh.
That's the major.
It's coming 2023.
Whole Gamescom presentation in general. It was like, show me the damn game, and like all these CGI trailers.
Gables, but we did get to see a fucking Pokemon card that's not real.
That's
That looks like a Bulbasaur for some reason, but you can watch movies out of. That happened. I'm fucking done with this. Outlast. I'm skipping shit now. Outlast Trials. We got some gameplay for that. There's going to be a fucking beta sign up for October 28th. That is like their Dead by Daylight game. Finally, last but not least here, Dead Island 2. We got gameplay for that. That is coming, which got leaked February 3rd. Actually looked pretty cool from the gameplay we saw. But I don't know, Gables. It was a 2-hour long event. I watched it. Fortunately for me, unfortunately, I was at work during this because like 1:00 my time.
Right.
It was like it's 11 your time. So, but this is a European based thing. So, that's like evening for them. That's why it's called Opening Night Live. So I had the benefit of being able to fast forward through like some of the stuff, like the commercials and stuff like that. But I'll say Summer Game Fest was just a slog to go through because there's a lot of like, here's the game. All right, now we're going to bring on the developer from the game and talk about the game. And then we're going to move on to the next game. And then we're going to show the game. And then we're going to talk about the game. And then, hey, here's an extra clip from that game we just spent 15 minutes talking about. Like, that really sucked, even though there was some cool, like, some good stuff in there. You just kind of forget the cool stuff that was shown because you're just like, I don't fucking care. He did a good job of cutting out a lot of that stuff. Like, there was some of it, but not a lot of it. It was more focused on, I feel like there was a lot more games shown than Summer Game Fest.
Right.
But it's still a 2-hour long thing, and it felt very front loaded. Where like a lot of the bigger stuff was at the beginning. There wasn't, and I think it's unfortunate too that literally twice in a row now with Summer Game Fest and also Opening Night Live, the one last thing was leaked on the internet right before the event. With Last of Us Part 1 and Dead Island 2. Like, I think those would have hit a lot harder if they weren't leaked online. That would have been like, it wouldn't have been so flat for that one more thing. Like, especially Dead Island 2 being literally, we haven't seen it since Gamescom in 2014.
True.
That was so literally 8 years since the last time we've heard or seen for that game. It switched like 4 or 5 developers and shit. Yeah, I don't know, like, it was. I feel like it moved a lot better. The pacing was pretty good, but it's still like, kind of use wrestling as an analogy here. Like AEW, I love All Elite Wrestling. Their pay-per-views always amazing, but they're like 5 hours long. And even though it's like 5 hours of just awesome wrestling, and it's awesome, it's still 5 hours, and it's like it's kind of long. And And in this case, it was like, even though it was still a well-paced event, um, it's still 2 hours, which we don't have a lot of anymore. Like I know Xbox does like the 90-minute thing, but they like Xbox they can get away with it. I mean, we'll rail them when they don't,
Right.
but when they have the goods, we just with a lot 2 years straight now they've had the goods at their Xbox E3 events, and we praise them for it. But there's been years where they did a 90-minute event, and it's like this didn't need to be 90 minutes. This was not good. Or it's like you're just doing like it was like especially when it's just like third party heavy.
Right.
But like I'd give it like I thought Summer Game Fest was like a 5 out of 10, mostly because of pacing and what was shown there. Even though they had some cool shit, they had Neon White there, they had
Right.
Shredder's Revenge there. They had The Last of Us Part One there. This one like individually, if I broke down on paper, I looked at the games. I said the same thing about Summer Game Fest. You looked on paper, it looks like a really good event, but like the pacing was terrible. We look at this one on paper. It's a lot of new IPs, which is not a bad thing. You need to have new IPs. Like obviously, it's very important to the future of everything: gaming, movies, anything entertainment. The problem is with me on this one was like a lot of the new IPs and a lot of the new things we saw were CG trailers.
Yes.
So it's like I don't even know what these games are. So like I talked about like the one that was like, okay, it looks kind of interesting. You land on a planet. You got to colonize this planet. Oh, it's a farming simulator / top down shooter game. Okay, well that's not interesting to me anymore. Um, so yeah, like I think like you can beat 2 hours, but you need to have the goods to be able to justify that time.
Right.
It all comes down to that. If this was like an hour long show and you had a lot of the same shit, obviously you literally couldn't fit all that into an hour. But if you had like an hour long show and you just took the best hour out of this and cut it up and made this one show, I would say, I mean, I still think it's like a 6 out of 10. Which is, I'm not saying that's bad. It's still good. It's still fine. But it wasn't like this is an event I'm not going to remember. It's like, but I also think like I didn't have I didn't have crazy expectations. Like Jeff Keighley's done a good job with the last two events of like keep expectations in check. Because he said that we're not going to have big, huge, oh holy shit moments of these things. And he did. I think with after Summer Game Fest, it also helped put my expectations in check. I don't know. What about you, Gables?
Yeah, kind of like the same thing like with that. I really wasn't expecting too much to come out of the whole Gamescom like presentation with Keeley. And quite honestly, I'm kind of glad I didn't really watch this one besides like some of the trailers that came out from it and stuff like that. But yeah, overall though, I do agree with you. It didn't need to be 2 hours. I think the pacing thing could have been better, and also at the same time, this could have been condensed down to like about an hour and a half. And really, we could have just had a lot of these stuff just announced on YouTube. Like just
Yeah,
put.
this could have been an email. Is very much like the thing like you put on this one.
Yeah, but that's pretty much what I kind of feel about it. Because yeah, they had some interesting things, but at the same time, none of it was like really, oh my god, this is something I must see or must play now.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I will say though, Dead Island did surprise me though, like how interesting the game looked. Um, but moving on, Gables, the PS5, Gables,
Hmm.
the PS5. I'm just gonna read this quote here from one Jim Ryan, Jimothy Ryan, Jimbo Ryan, Jim Ryan, Jimmy Ryan. Some people call him. I bet his friends call him Jimmy. Think his friends call him Jimmy?
Probably like off chance, when they go and pick him up by the pool and stuff. Hey, Jimmy, get in the
Yeah,
damn car.
yeah. When his mom is mad at him, he calls him James. One of those things.
Jimmy James.
Um,
Jimmy James
Jimmy
Ryan.
James, Jimmy James, Jimmy James. Yeah, yeah, I love that. Um, here's a quote, the opening quote from good old Jimmy James Ryan, head of PlayStation.
Okay.
The global economic environment is a challenge that many of you around the world are no doubt experiencing. We're seeing high global inflation rates, as well as adverse currency trends, impacting consumers and creating pressure on many industries. That was the quote to start this blog post.
When I
The
initially read that response that Jim Ryan had, especially after hearing a bunch in regards to Sony increasing the prices of the PS5 in all
Yeah,
these
I have
separate
the list here if you want
countries.
me to go through them real fast.
Okay, go ahead.
I have Europe. So it's Europe, UK, Japan, China, Australia, Mexico, and Canada. Basically every territory except for the United States. It's about 10% price increase.
Yeah, all those price increases and stuff, along with Jim Ryan's response, and my response to that is this is complete fucking bullshit. And here's
Mm.
why. Not even a year ago, there was articles posted in regards to Sony making a profit off of their PlayStation 5 systems. They were finally able to turn a profit on the PlayStation 5. Fast forward now a year later, they're increasing the prices of their console, all except for here in the United States. What's interesting about that is their headquarters moved from Japan to the United States, right? The
Oh,
United
it's in Europe
States,
now. The main one's in Europe
well, yeah,
because Jim Ryan.
right,
That's
right,
why.
right. Inside of Europe, there are studios there in Europe and that portion and that. But I was more referring to like what they did like inside of like California and all that other shit. But
Okay, yeah, yeah.
my thing about that was, in general, it's like you have in business in general and stuff. There's always been a rule of thumb. This applies to retail and also improves. So this also like is comparable to like other fields of stuff. It's like you can sell something for the initial price. It's like you can go low, but you can go lower than the initial price, but you never price the thing over or increase it in that regards. And
Mm.
there's a reason for that. Because if a customer were to go forth and know that a price is like a certain price, but then all of a sudden next week they see a price hike of about $50, $30 to $50, give or take, they're going to get angry because at that point they would feel at that point in time like they are getting the short end of the stick. They would feel like that the person or the company that went through and put out that initial increase would be they would view them as greedy and all this other stuff. Quite honestly, what I see with PlayStation making this announcement this week, it's more or less like that type of arrogant type of Sony mentality that they have been proven throughout like the whole history of their gaming company over the past 20 some odd years. They've done moves like the questionable moves, whether or not it be like the whole aspect of launching the PlayStation 5 at 599 US dollars. And for those,
You mean the PS3?
yes, that's exactly what I was meaning. God damn it.
No, you're
It's
fine.
getting so late that my freaking, God. Well,
We
anyway,
did start very late on the recording,
well,
so yeah, it's fine.
yeah, that's true too. But at the same point, the PS3, when that initially released, for those listening in that were born after 2006, I mean, I understand you think this is going to be completely foreign and stuff, but there was at one time Sony released the PlayStation 3 console, and that price that they went through and they did, was 599 US dollars, and they showcased a couple different games like a Ridge Racer
During a recession.
and that one freaking game and stuff that had giant enemy crabs where you could hit the weak spot for massive damage. I mean, that is synonymous with meme culture at this point, even so many years later. But the thing about it is, it's kind of similar to what we have right now, to where it was a decision that Sony made that they thought would, because they thought at that point they would put out a product that they thought would go through and sell incredibly well. Now,
Yeah.
granted, the
Well, they
place
just came out with the PS2, and it was like the best-selling console of all
exactly,
time. So
exactly, the
yeah,
PlayStation 2 was the best-selling console of all time throughout its time frame from 2001 all the way up to like about 2000 and freaking 5 at that point. It
Yeah, I
lasted,
mean they were still selling that console everywhere around the world
yes, even after,
for
and there were still,
for 4 or 5 years just because of FIFA.
exactly,
So
and there were still game releases, even like sports games in other countries and stuff up until like around, yeah, like 2010, 2011. So the
yeah,
fucking system had some legs, but yeah, moving on to like the PlayStation 3, it's like Sony was so arrogant at the time and stuff that they launched their initial console at close to $600 because they thought the consumers were going to go through and snatch that up and stuff because it not only was a new console, but yet they thought that they would reap a bunch of the benefits and stuff. But the exact opposite happened. People were criticizing Sony in regards to that price hike, that price chain, that price introduction initially and stuff because you had the competition that were, well, it was lower. Like the 360 was like about what, close to about $400 at that point. The Xbox
yeah,
360,
it was 400.
and
Yeah,
then the Nintendo Wii launched for about 250, and then people saw
two
like, you know what?
hundred. Yeah, 250.
There was choices on the horizon right here. It's like you have the PlayStation 3 at $600, you have $400 for an Xbox 360, a Gen 1 360 at that, and then
Yeah,
it's like the Nintendo Wii being the low,
was
like,
$200.
yes, exactly, being like about $200 to $250,
So
and
I remember the Wii 60 thing where you can buy a Wii and 360 for the price of a PS3.
exactly the point. But the thing was, it's like it's similar to what we have right now, right? Where it's like most of the consoles, except for like say the Switch and stuff, are kind of like equal in terms of technology in that regards. I mean, what we got going right at this moment is like similar consoles, similar things and stuff like that. Xbox has completely like kind of nearly turned this thing around in regards to matching like the popularity of say what Sony has because they were trailing for
Yeah,
so long in regards to the Xbox One stuff that at this moment in time it would take Sony doing a colossal fuck up in order for them to initially be outsold by like say Microsoft in regards to a bunch of their steps and whatsoever. And then this news came out this week that the price hike for other countries and stuff like that for the PlayStation 5 and stuff. And I feel like this is a giant misstep. Not because of the past tense and stuff like that, but yet what's say Microsoft could just go along like maybe I'm just speculating at this point like theoretically if Microsoft went through like later on like about another week or so and say, oh, you know what, we are, because they've already went out and said this, right, we're keeping it like they're keeping it at the same price, like $500 for like the Series X and stuff, and about like what was that, 350 or something like that for, I think $300 I think for the Series S and stuff like that. But as you would expect, the reaction from other gamers around the world and stuff from other countries, they were pissed, especially in Japan, because Sony's this is like Sony's home country for God's sakes, and this is the the whole like the homeland type of mentality and stuff like that, to where it just didn't make sense. I mean, there are plenty of gamers in Japan that are quintessentially saying, "Well, fuck it, we're just gonna go through, we're gonna keep playing games on Steam and like keep playing games like the Switch because the Switch has like almost now has like a complete monopoly inside of Japan, give or take like a couple different games that are coming like out in that region and stuff." Oh man, I'm trying to wrap this up, man. I'm just trying to think. I'm kind of like just having a bunch of different like situations because that's just how this topic is. There's so many things kind of influencing like not only past tense to what Sony's decisions has made in terms of pricing, and then all of a sudden it's like what I'm basically saying is it's complete bullshit in any way, shape, or form. It really doesn't matter to me that the U.S. didn't really get a price hike in that regards because, in my honest opinion, they know if they did that in the United States, people would be fucking up in arms. This is like one of the largest consumer bases for video games, barring China and barring like Europe and everything else like that. So
yeah.
yeah,
Um, yeah. I think I read that initial quote because it was just like it just came out bad. Like, hey, we know times are tough, so we're raising the prices, kind of thing. And like I get it, the price goes up, eggs are up, milk, everything's more expensive now. We know that inflation. We get it. Everything's more expensive now. We know, you know, it's crazy right now. Um, I think the big backlash here is like to me like I will defend them in the sense of like, yeah, technically it costs like they are making a profit on what it costs to build a PlayStation 5, but they are still losing money on the shipping. The most expensive part about the PS5 isn't the building part of it; it's the shipping part of it now. Shipping containers. You've seen like Nintendo just announced they cut the box size down of a Switch down 20%
Hmm.
so they can fit more Switches on a shipping canister. Like
Right.
that's literally what they're doing. Um, so I'll defend that part. Where yeah, like they're making a profit on that end, but it's like to box it, to ship it, and then the cut that like Walmart and Amazon get from selling it, they are still losing money on that, and that's before you count inflation and shit like that on top of it. Um, but yeah, it's when everybody else, like the shipping cost thing is usually just the cost that companies would eat. We saw this during like the recession. We saw this. We see this where it's like hey, it costs more money to do this thing, or like and people just aren't. We're not going to see that. We don't like. Okay, they're going to eat that cost because the point of the consoles are a lot of times, unless you're Nintendo, you don't make a profit off selling the console, but you make the money off of selling the games for the console. That's where the profit comes from. You look at the Steam Deck, that thing is selling for like $500,
Yep.
which is crazy expensive for a lot of people. I understand that, but that thing is like a $800 to $1,100 fucking piece of material. But they're willing to eat that cost because you're gonna spend that money probably 3 times amount on buying games for the Steam now. Now you're in the Steam universe. Um, Same thing with PlayStation. Like you buy a PS5, cool, they lost some money on it, but you buy a couple games, boom, they've made a profit off of you. That goes into before you buy PS Plus or you buy extra controllers or whatever. Um, like I get it, business wise, super smart move because you want to know why? They are kicking Xbox's ass in all of those countries. They are the dominant. I mean, not including Nintendo. Just this is a PlayStation, Xbox comparison here. They are the dominant console in those markets. So they're going to raise those prices because, well, A, you can't find one. And B, it's like, well, it's only 10% more. If you have a chance to buy it, are you really like if you've been trying to get one for 2 years now, are you really not going to try to get one now? 95% of people probably are just going to buy one anyways. They're just going to be more upset about it. It's just a matter of like they are burning some goodwill on you on that. That's what it is. And it's like, like, hey, can we make some more money but burn some goodwill? Yeah, fuck it. Like we just saw this with Nintendo. Which I thought was hilarious. Nintendo and Xbox said we are no plans to raise our prices. We just watched
Which is a
Nintendo.
smart PR move on that part to announce
Yeah, I
that.
mean, but
But
it's an easy win because like no, we're not gonna do that. But it's an easy win on the half. But like we just literally watched Nintendo last year backdoor their way into a price increase of the Nintendo Switch with the OLED,
that's
where
true too.
they like the console is cheaper than ever to make. They added I believe what came out to be about a $9 piece of material,
Hmm.
and then they increased the price $50. It's like they
Well,
backdoored their
right,
way into a
right.
price increase, but hey, they know you know what? They know people are gonna buy it, and that's the end of it. And I understand it, and I don't like it. I bitched at the time, but I thought it was kind of a bullshit thing to do. But you know what? They burned some goodwill, and people bought it anyways, and people are just fans of the thing. And like, I was literally talking to Justin about this today, where it's like, if you love something enough, you will you will like kind of push it aside because you like that thing. I was talking, we were talking about like this is a really shitty analogy here, but like Deshaun Watson, who is a piece of shit human being, who's being over 30 women have accused him of sexual assault and rape, and but he is a quarterback in the NFL. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it, but he plays for the Cleveland Browns now. He got just traded a couple months ago from the Texans to the Cleveland Browns. And a lot now I'm not gonna say the vast majority, but there are a good chunk of people that are Cleveland Brown fans that all of a sudden they love Deshaun Watson because you want to know why? Because he's the quarterback for the team they love. and they will forgive these things because of that. Obviously, this is apples and oranges. We're talking about sexual assault compared to raising the prices, but it's the analogy still kind of works in a really sick, twisted way. Where if you love the thing, you're just gonna do it anyways. Like if they did it to us here, and I still want a PS5, I would still buy it. I'm gonna bitch about it more, but I'm still gonna buy it. And I'm not defending it whatsoever. I think it's horseshit. I completely agree with Gables. I've been talking about this for the last couple of years, and this is like someone for me that is of like the big three, probably PlayStation first the last 8 years since really the end of 2013, when the PS4 came out. Where like that's been the PlayStation has been my main console for since then. We're coming up on 9 years now, and I try to like be balanced about this, but yeah, like it's horseshit. And I talk about this where it's like they did like all like, oh, it's for the gamers. They did the cool shit with with like, here's how you share games. They hand the game over to somebody else. Like I was literally thinking about this the other day, where when we had Andrew House, we had Shuya Yoshida, who's still there, but he got demoted. We had Andrew House get kicked out, essentially forced out, and then we had Jim Ryan take over. The last few years, it just seems like I've been saying this is that arrogant Sony has come back, and all three console makers are guilty of it. Nintendo has been arrogant with the 3DS when they launched it way overpriced with no games.
Mm-hmm.
We look at the Wii U launching that, not reading the market, and putting it out for $400. You look at the Xbox with the Xbox One. We know how that went.
Yep.
We don't need to go over that again. PS3, they all do it. They all get arrogant. They think they can do this thing. Cyberpunk. We're the people that we made Witcher 3. We can put Cyberpunk. It'll be fine. Cyberpunk will be fine. People will get over it. No, they didn't. Same thing with BioWare. We made Mass Effect. People aren't getting mad about Andromeda. Yeah, we were. People get arrogant. Companies get arrogant and they think they can get away with things because of past precedent. And they can to a certain extent, but eventually that wears thin. And I feel like we are in a weird state right now with PlayStation, and I've been saying this, of like we're hearing about they're making like they have over a dozen live service games in development right now. They're really focused. They're making a Gravity Rush TV show and a Days Gone movie. We won't make new games, but we're gonna make movies and TV shows based off these IPs. We're bringing back Twisted Metal. We're gonna try that again for some reason, even though we haven't made a good one in 20 years, probably longer. And there's also a Peacock TV show coming out next year, by the way. And maybe I don't know. So I mean, we're in that weird spot too, where like God of War Ragnarok's coming out soon, and then all we have is like Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine on the horizon to look at, and those are probably 12 months to longer away. So we don't really know what else is coming from them. When we're Xbox, we have everything we know is coming from them. Nintendo, we don't have Breath of the Wild 2 coming next year, but yeah, it's just hard to like what the fuck else is coming. But yeah, like it's bullshit and it's shitty, and like the way like I doubt Jim Ryan wrote that blog post, but his name is on it, so you're gonna take the heat for it. But he constantly like whenever he speaks, he's just bad at it. And whoever is the person whose publicist is that like writes these lines for him, who writes these blog posts, you need to find a better job because you're not good at it. Because it's just every time, we saw this last year, or earlier this year, when they made these promises about like you can upgrade to the PS5 game for PS4 PS5 with these cross-gen games like Gran Turismo and God of War and Horizon for free. And then they tried to go back on it with Horizon, where they tried charging us $10 more. And like you said, if they did that, they pulled this shit in the United States, we're gonna be very vocal about it. And we were very vocal about it. And literally the next day, they went back on it with Horizon and Gran Turismo.
And also in regards to, let's go ahead and say with the whole Xbox Live price increase and stuff, that barely lasted a day until they went back on that because of how much vocal outlash there was in regards to that move in and of itself. But
that was an American driven thing. Yeah.
Exactly. But in closing and stuff, this is I honestly feel this is a honest to God misstep on Sony's part that's going to bite them in the ass long term, because this is definitely something that some people will take as a bridge burning element where this will affect their purchase. And there I would not doubt if there's people out there that have been waiting all this time to get a PlayStation 5, see this price hike and stuff. You know what? Fuck it. I'm out. I'm gonna get like a Series S, or I'm just gonna go stick with PC and then just have a Switch like some other people have,
Yeah.
But at the end, at in closing, in this regard, it's like this couldn't have came at a much worse time as this has, and the way the thing was stated, it just really seemed incredibly greedy.
Yeah. Yeah, and like we get it. Like corporations are greedy. We like to love them. We like to think they care about us, but they don't. Um, but yeah, I like everything you said, Gables. I pretty much agree with, and I don't know. It just sucks. I don't think this will be the thing that like I'm not if the
It takes
Switch
some
if
of like a myriad of different reasons, and I think
yeah
this is one of those
this is a
reasons.
but this is a big notch. We
Yep.
just dealt with this like you said. Like we were just talking about the Horizon thing. Um, I had another example in there. I had like multiple examples. I totally was ready for this conversation. I lost it. Um, but then we have the PSVR 2. Like what the fuck's going on? Like what's that gonna cost? Like it's just there's a tide that feels like it's turning.
Hmm.
And I feel like you said like
I feel it
this will
too.
just yeah this is just one more gust of wind pushing that tide into a different direction. And if it happens, this is going to be one of the things we look at as maybe not the reason, but one of the reasons.
Hmm.
So, but moving on, Gables, to let's talk about some more exciting news.
Okay.
We got a new fucking Pokemon. Salazar? Cyclizar?
Oh, that's right. The whole Pokemon trailer. Yeah, yeah. We actually got a competitive Pokemon trailer around the time that the Pokemon World Finals was wrapping up. And there was one new Pokemon that was revealed, and that was like Cyclizar or something like that. It
Yeah.
quintessentially looks like it's a pre-evolutionary form of like like one of the two legendaries. It definitely does give off that vibe and stuff. I think it's kind of funny because it definitely looks like a little motorcycle, little motorbike and stuff, and that's why people are just putting two and two together. But pretty much what came out of that is like the typing of it, Dragon normal type. It's actually fairly decent typing. I think previous Pokemon had it. There's like one other previous Pokemon that had that typing. I think it was Drampa, that whole Pokemon that was introduced in the Alola region and stuff. But the talking point when that Pokemon was revealed, I'm talking about like the bicycle Pokemon like Cyclizar or something. He has this move that quintessentially works like a substitute. This ability is really weird. It's like when he comes in and stuff, he creates a substitute, but yet he takes away half of his HP. He switches out, kind of like how a U-turn would be, like the bug move U-turn, or like a sort of like a volt switch and stuff, where you do something and then you go back to the Pokeball and stuff and switch into another Pokemon. So yeah, it basically creates a substitute for another Pokemon and stuff. So when Cyclizar switches out, the Pokemon gets that substitute on top of like whatever they got, which inside of competitive play, that can lead to some pretty interesting moments and can be abusable on the right type of Pokemon. But let me tell you something, the whole terastallizing thing, we saw a little bit more of that in this trailer as well, and it did have some interesting introductions in regards to what types you could potentially change your Pokemon. I think the example they were giving was with Tyranitar, and get this terastallizing like thing of like a ghost type, which that's fairly important because that blocks against Tyranitar's natural weakness, which is against fighting type Pokemon. Considering, I think it's got like a, I think now that I think about it, it's quad weak to fighting type moves. So that's essentially a big up type of thing in competitive play. Because if like a Pokemon like Tyranitar, that's a pretty damn good Pokemon, and it has been in past generations in competitive play, gets an element to where they can just switch their typing of some based upon what's available and stuff, yeah, that could potentially be a huge type of momentum shift in regards to the whole competitive landscape of the Pokemon games. But yeah, that was pretty much like the major things that were introduced in this trailer. It wasn't fairly long at all. It was like about, God, what, like about five,
It's yeah.
like around a 5-minute trailer. But from what I
Yeah.
saw, it was fairly interesting. But yet, as far as any other information after that or from potential leaks, I really haven't been looking into. I think I stated like in the
Yeah.
past maybe the past couple weeks or so like that I'm not interested in looking at more spoiler stuff because I already know the full game is probably already leaked online somewhere and stuff. And quite honestly, I'm gonna save some bit of surprises up until I start playing that game in November. And
Yeah.
at the same point, it's like I much rather would find out either by Nintendo introducing it through their release, like the trailers and stuff leading up to the game. And quite honestly, yeah, it was kind of fun watching that trailer.
Oh yeah. I mean, so they said that though that this you'll get this guy you'll receive him at the start of the game,
Okay.
and this will replace the bikes entirely. They did say that.
Oh, okay.
Sekulzar was a part of the leaks.
Okay.
So I know Gables, you don't want to know it. I'm not going to spoil it for people that want to keep it private for them, like Gables. But yeah, he was very much part of the leaks.
Okay.
I kind of deep dived into some of the main stuff out there. So there are some. If you want, if you are interested in jumping into like a deep dive of the leaks, go to the Game Explain. They did like a guy did like a really good like 12-minute video, deep diving into pretty much all the leaks out there. If you're
Yeah,
interested in
there's
that.
pretty much like Game Explain, like multiple different YouTubers that are covering all the various leaks that are coming out, like A
Mhm.
Drive or Tyranitar Tube or like friggin'
Yeah.
Austin John Plays and stuff. Just all these different people, even like Birdkeeper Toby and like stuff. There's a plethora of Pokemon YouTubers that you can go forth and get some of these spoiler informations from. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Gables, you said Birdkeeper Toby, and I'm
yeah.
immediately angry, and I don't know why.
Well, that's the thing. He named himself after his YouTube. He named it after like a well, there's like a trainer inside of the Gen 2 games called Birdkeeper Toby.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I don't know that guy. I don't know anything about him. He seems like a nice guy. Fuck him. Um. So.
he's an incredibly
uh.
chill dude, though. He's pretty nice.
I don't know. His name was Toby. But moving on, Gables. We got some other news this week.
Yeah.
Game Awards is taking place December 8th. We have a date. It'll be live in person, so that's pretty cool. PSVR 2 is coming early 2023. Destiny 2 Lightfall, Gables, coming out February 28th. And Gables,
Mm.
Destiny Guardians in motherfucking Fortnite. Huh?
Yes, yes. I saw that
Huh?
the coming in too. But at the same point, I wanted to talk a little bit about Lightfall and stuff like that. It looks fairly interesting. It has like a new world. That's like a new different types of sunset species, and goddamn it, that face. Anyway, Tyler, probably Extra Life will try Fortnite with you, okay?
Ah!
Dude, I understand. You want me to play Fortnite with you, and that's fine. That's fine. We'll make it happen during the whole Extra Life stuff.
All right, I'm holding you to it. Oh, yeah, this won't be Resident Evil 6 all over again, I promise.
No, no, this is not going to be Resident Evil 6.
No, but are you excited for Lightfall, though?
Well, yeah. Honestly, I am excited for Lightfall because of the different things that were introduced inside the trailer. That fucking thing that they showcased, that new species or some, or whatever the hell, that the thumbnail that they put, that thing looks so fucking unsettling.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a new explorable world, Neptune. I think it was based upon like Neptune or
Yep, Neptune.
whatsoever.
Which is weird, Gables, because I'm going to be a space nerd here for a minute.
Yeah,
Neptune is a fucking gas giant. There's
yeah.
no surface in Neptune. It is a fucking ball of gas.
I don't know why they did it like that, but at the same
Unless
point,
it's like a moon of Neptune. I'll allow that.
probably is like I'm not too sure in and of its entirety or how that fucking thing is going to be working
The
for Destiny
pressure of
2.
Neptune will literally crush us into nothing.
Okay,
I'm
I
sorry.
understand from that point of view.
Don't get mad at me about it. I didn't make it. This is bullshit. I don't know why I'm getting mad about a game with the giant egg in the sky. But
I'll
go
tell
ahead.
you what, though, what's fascinating about it, it's releasing February of next year.
28th.
Yeah, that's fairly
Yeah.
soon, considering that, the whole freaking Lich Queen thing. Oh, yeah, Witch Queen. Yeah, the whole Witch Queen thing released earlier on this week. I don't know why I was thinking Oh, I mixed up fucking Destiny 2 with World of Warcraft. God damn it.
Oh my god.
That is a new low even for me. But yeah, I still need to finish up on Witch Queen. I know I have a few friends that wouldn't mind tagging along with me and try to go through and finish up the story mission type of stuff, but
Yeah. Did you buy it, the Witch Queen?
yes,
Okay. All right.
I do have the expansion, but at the
Well,
same
because
time,
it's free for this week, so I didn't know if you bought it.
yeah, I've already played that and stuff, and honestly, they go on this week. Like they have the missions available for like Shadow Keep and like friggin' Beyond Light, and then like the whole thing with Witch Queen and stuff. But it's one of those things where I haven't been really too much in the mood to play Destiny 2. I think I played like after buying that, I played like one day with my friends and stuff, and quite essentially I've been playing other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. So, but yeah, I don't know. I need to go and I'll probably buy eventually. Witch Queen's on sale. I might just pick it up and play it later.
It's probably gonna. It's you know what, Tyler. I will say this: there has been interesting improvements made upon that expansion, and from what I've been hearing and what I've played, though, it definitely seems like the best expansion that's come out for that
Yeah.
game so far.
I played the first mission that was like free with it.
Huh?
That was kind of like the thing that kind of rope you into buying it. I liked it a lot. It's just I just need to play it. But it's on sale. It was like because like I think it was like 20. It's like $20 or $25. So I might just buy it.
That's good.
And just play it later. Maybe save it for an extra life thing or something. I don't know. Next up though, PlayStation and Discord. So this is coming from Tom Henderson here, who is a pretty prominent leaker in the world of things.
Right.
He's the one that initially leaked the date for Sonic Frontier. He leaked the
Right.
PlayStation Pro, which we talked about months ago.
Oh goddamn, that's
Um,
right.
he is saying that PlayStation sometimes there's so I'm in the beta for the PlayStation update that came out that has like the group and stuff. I can't talk about it because I'm really important. I can't talk about it because of I signed an NDA for that.
Okay. Okay.
But it's fine. But I don't know about you like this. This is not a part of it. But apparently, when that full-fledged update comes out, you'll be able to use Discord
Huh.
with PlayStation. So kind of like what Xbox said they're going to be doing, and that's in like a beta thing right now. Um,
Oh, okay.
I believe it's the
Man.
6.0 update. That's what it is. Discord will be integrated into PlayStation. So then, if you're playing, when you're doing cross-platform games now, you can like, and they're on PC or on Xbox, and you're on PlayStation or whatever. Like you can all talk to each other now, which that's fucking awesome.
Well,
Like we
yeah.
talked about this with
Yeah.
Xbox doing this. That's awesome. And I if that's I hope this is true because I think that would be awesome. Um, but yeah. Next up, Dark Pictures Anthologies, Devil in Me. We got a release date finally coming November 18th. Fortunately, there's nothing important coming out November 18th, right, Gables?
Oh god.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna
Yeah.
go and comment on that one.
Yeah. No, unfortunately, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is coming out that same fucking day
Yeah.
because Dark Pictures Anthologies. The name of the name of the studios escape me right now. But apparently they hate me because they put a game out the same day fucking Pokemon's going out. And 2 weeks for Callisto Protocol. So, man, what the fuck? And I don't we apparently so I know there's always rumors out there on this shit. But this one seems a lot more realistic than the previous rumors.
Okay.
Um, apparently there's a Nintendo Direct and PlayStation event happening in September.
You know what? I wouldn't rule it out. I mean, quite honestly, there's been so much speculation in regards to the next Nintendo Direct that at this point, I don't care I'm not going to care until Nintendo actually goes forth and reveals it itself. But with the whole Sony stuff, it actually has been not only rumored heavily, but there have been instances where that is going to be happening September. So,
Yeah. And they usually do. So I've been saying forever. September 8th would be the day they would know. It's always the Thursday after Labor Day they do it.
mm.
So,
Yeah, that has been a
yeah.
routine that has been going on for quite a while with this. So, honestly, it could be almost anything that they go
Yeah.
forth.
Yeah. So, a lot of the big leakers are saying this now, which is why I'm
Right.
believing this one more. Jeff Grubb is confirming this as well, that he's hearing it.
Okay.
And he's the only person out there that back in May, he said there would not be a direct in June, like a big direct, like the E3 direct.
Right.
I know we technically got one in June, but not the big one we wanted.
No, it's more like Pokemon stuff, early June.
Yeah, or maybe it was July we had the third party one. But he said that instead we would get a bunch of small announcements throughout the summer, which is exactly what happened. Every week they had, they announced a Kirby game, they announced a date for Bayonetta 3.
Absolutely.
They lost yeah. So they did the Splatoon direct, stuff like that. So he's the only person that said that. So that once I heard him say that, it makes me believe him. I mean, I don't think he's ever he doesn't say shit just for attention. He'll say shit when he's pretty positive about stuff.
Right.
And he also said that Gables, if you want Wind Waker and you want Twilight Princess, we shouldn't have to wait much longer.
Huh.
Yeah, he didn't say this year, but he said shouldn't be much longer.
He's also been insisting for a while there's a Metroid Prime
remaster
happening this year, but at the same
time, he said he initially he said that that's in the works. It's done. It's just a matter of when it comes out.
Right.
He did say though that he's assuming November. He did not confirm November, but it kind of people kind of took the ball and ran with the November thing. So I do want to protect him on that state. That maybe he shouldn't have said the November thing, to be fair. But I get why he assumed that because it's the 20th anniversary of Metroid Prime. But I feel like at this point, that's probably not going to be the case. But Gables, what's up? What we've been playing?
Okay.
I've only played a little bit of Fortnite. I'm just slowly trudging along, trying to get to the unlock Darth Vader. I'm trying to get to the level 90. I'm at 67 or something like that right now. I'm getting close. Played more Madden, still good. Another game I'm playing though this week. I've literally only played like the first hour of it. Midnight Fight Express. I've been looking for this game for a couple of years now. It is the game that's made by one dude.
Yes.
He's a single father. I can't remember what he's like Sweden or something like that. But it is like a top-down I don't know, like kind of like almost like it reminds me of like an old school like arcade brawler game, but like top down, but like a faster paced kind of game. It's badass. It gives you very much Hotline Miami vibes as well. It's like if they made like a John Wick video game, this is what I want it to be.
Okay.
Just fast paced, like you're just fucking people up. Very bloody, very gory. The comedies they do it's not a funny game, but there's like some funny levity moments into it. But basically you're playing like the story is very light, but for this game I don't need a lot of story. This is perfect for me. Just give me a reason to like do these things and I'm all in. He is a sleeper agent. So basically like, people don't know, like back, this is like a real thing they tried. I don't know if it's ever successful. Like governments try to like make normal citizens where like they train them to be like assassins, but like they use but they don't know this and they just live their lives normally. But then you say like a weird phrase to them and then all of a sudden it triggers a thing in their brain and they become like basically robots and they just become assassins for you. And they lose, like they don't have any control of what they're doing. And that's kind of the idea of this, where it's like the city, like crime has gone crazy in the city. Like people, like mobs are like just taking over and shit's going crazy. And a drone comes in, activates you, and you just start fucking murdering people. And it is awesome. It's on Game Pass. Gables, what we call Game Pass?
The best deal in gaming.
You're goddamn right. I like the enthusiasm on that one. Yeah, it's like, so you just like it's just like you literally go to a room, a bunch of bad guys show up, and you like there's so many cool fucking like you can like and you have like skill trees, you can unlock like better like moves you can do or more move sets, or like you can like counter stuff like that. And there's all these different types of enemies. There's enemies like you have the big guy, you have the guy that has like the little shield thing he uses, like literally it's like a stop sign he uses, and like you can pick up weapons, they break over time. There are guns in the game, but the guns you can like literally only use what's in the clip of the gun. The gun can fuck you up though. If you get shot a couple times, it can drains your life pretty quickly. These they do it like really cool. Is like I was looking at the accessibility with like the difficulty options, and you can really make that game as easy or as difficult as you want it to be in that game, which is awesome. I believe there's like you're basically just running through this entire thing in one night, and like you're cutting back and you're like talking to like the cops, and like you're telling them the story of what you're doing. But it's all about just like there's a bunch of bad guys trying to kill a bunch of bad guys, and it is just a fast paced fuck 'em up button masher game. Um, it is like a really like a top down version of like Streets of Rage 4 and Shredder's Revenge to
Oh
me,
wow.
but super like just a lot of blood. It's like it's just not family friendly, I guess is the way to put it in that sense. So Gables, I think you would actually love this game.
Okay.
I really think you would. I've only played like the first maybe like 8 levels, I want to say,
Okay.
but the levels are super short. They're like 3 to 5 minutes. Um, I think there's like I think you can. I heard you can beat this game in like 4 to 6 hours. So,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
I I just didn't have like I didn't have the chance to play it during the week. Came out just like I think on Tuesday, and then today was like this afternoon was the first time I got a chance to play it. So I only played it for like an hour, but I want to play more of it. So far, uh, it's hitting everything I want it to be. The music, everything flows together so well. I'm really digging it. We've been playing Gables.
All right. So I had an itch to want to play football, right? And so it's
Mm-hmm.
like I went on to. I just happened to be on the Switch's eShop because I was just looking at a bunch of different games, like I generally end up doing. Then I came across, I started searching a little bit like on Open Critic and stuff, there was this one game I remembered like off the cuff. It's like, okay, I've seen this game Retro Bull in the eShop. It's like, what the hell? Like, I type it in and stuff. It pops up for me, right? It's like, okay, it's got 87 on Open Critic. It's like about 6 reviews or some of that. But it came out this February, and from what I
Hmm.
understood, this game was a mobile game for a long while. But I think this year it actually came out like on consoles. Well, for what I've seen, it's out on Switch. So it wasn't fairly expensive, so I picked it up and stuff. Just wanted to see why it was rating so highly and stuff. And I ended up incredibly liking this game. Now, with Retro Bowl, you start off as like a head coach, right? You went through and you choose your favorite team or choose whatever team and stuff like that. And you have the option to where you can just begin on your favorite team or just have like a random team or something like that you initially are the head coach of. So I spent a good part of this week playing a hell of a lot of Retro Bowl because the gameplay is fairly simple. So you basically play the offense only, right? There isn't a lot of like complexity in terms of the gameplay of itself. So how the gameplay works is when you're in the formation and stuff, you just move like the left analog stick and stuff, and that pretty much hikes the ball. And you use the right stick to try to aim to where you need to throw the ball, right? And so once you aim it and stuff like that, I think you just press like things like the A button or some of that sort, and you just launch the ball. You pass the ball to either your receivers or your tight end or your running back or whatsoever. So the gameplay in and of itself is relatively simple. It's simple but fun, but the main core of this game really is spent upon the building up of your team. Where when I started playing Retro Bowl, I essentially just wanted to start like, okay, I'm not gonna start as my favorite team. I'm gonna go through the save file and stuff, and I'm gonna play through like the random team. And the team I get placed upon was Houston. What's interesting about this, it doesn't use any type of NFL licensings and stuff like that, but you pretty much know that these are like NFL themed teams because they list the places and they have the same color of jerseys at the actual NFL teams and stuff like that, but they're not referred to as like the actual NFL teams and stuff because of licensing issues. But what's also kind of funny is when you go through to pick certain players like within the free agency or within the draft, they have mix they have like certain players' names, but they're not the actual, say, players' names. Like for example, it's like you're not going to see a player that's going to be named Aaron Rodgers or something like that. You're going to be seeing someone like, okay, maybe he's going to be like Ted Rogers or like this or
The
that.
Atlanta team has got quarterback's name is Ryan Matt.
That's a possibility. It does a great job in terms of like mixing up like the names and stuff, so that way it's like it's an NFL team, but at the same time it's not. But let me tell you something though. You are tasked with not only help leveling up your team and stuff like that, but the front office stuff you get to keep track of, like expanding the stadium, the training facilities, the rehab facilities and stuff. You want to get all those like leveled up like super fast and stuff like that, because stadium refers to like increase more fans coming into your stadium and stuff, and that will like not only hyperlize like their enthusiasm meter and stuff like that to wanting to come back and stuff, or it just like decreases the amount of like fan like backlash or something if you lose a game or something like that. Training facilities, it's pretty much like self-explanatory. It helps you level up your players and stuff after each game. Rehab facilities is in terms of like helping your players recover after like a certain game. Like for example, if a player is out and injured for like about 2 games or something like that, they'll come back. Like they'll come back quick. I'm just saying, because if you hardly ever level up the rehab stuff, they'll maybe out maybe for 5 games and stuff, and then it'll take incredibly like a long time in order to get up to snuff. But you can also hire and like fire like offensive and defensive coordinators and stuff. I never had a chance really to experiment with a coach of either offense or defense coordinator that have like a specific ability and stuff like that, because you begin with like a standard like half star like offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, and they don't have like any like traits or any type of major stuff. Like you'll see some traits that's like, okay, this dude it's like he's a scout, and so he'll see actual like how good certain players are in case like you're doing an NFL draft, like doing like a draft for players and stuff. And you'll see, okay, this guy's a 5-star player. Yeah, we need to draft him. Or oh, he's a 2-star player. You avoid him at all costs. Now, going on to this initial season and stuff with Houston and stuff, you start off with the last game of the season, so like week 18 and stuff, and it's pretty much structured that you win that first game. That way, it creates a lot more enthusiasm and stuff, like for the fan base for the next season starts and rolls around. In that save file, I initially played 5 full seasons. I spent like 2 or 3 seasons with Houston. And what's kind of hilarious about it is like during that time with the Houston team and stuff, after every week you'll have like these supposed like free agents come to visit you. I ended up doing the stupid thing and like I actually went through and signed one of like the players that were from free agency. Most of the time these guys' moods are terrible. That's like another feature inside this game to where you have to level the morale of like the players and stuff like that. Like you'll be literally given choices to where okay, such and such was found like saying derogatory comments of like the opposing team or something like that. You have the option of either criticizing him and decreasing his morale, or ignoring it but decreasing the morale of your team. So you're left with these type of scenarios to where you got to pick between one or like one option or the other and stuff. But oh god, there was a couple different options to kind of make me chuckle and stuff like that. This dude was pulled over because of an unknown substance and stuff like that. You want to
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly, it goes there. He doesn't necessarily like state what, but at the same time it just gives you that whole like scenario. It's like, okay, do I choose this way and just criticize, like chew him out and stuff, fine him or something like that, and decrease his morale to like a shitty setting, or should I just go forth and ignore it and then the team just goes down as a result? So you have these
Yeah.
type of choices.
Like real life.
Yes, exactly. It does have that sort of feature. It does have that sort of like real life sort of tendency, even though it's like almost like a Tecmo Bowl inspired like football game, quite essentially. But yeah, the most fun about that is like I did the bad decision of choosing a player from like free agency that just decided to visit your team and stuff. And throughout that entire season, he performed terribly, and he'd be constantly pissed off. And so if you have a player that gets like to a toxic level of like behavior or something like that, you can't trade him off. You'd have to physically release him if you want to get rid of him. But I've just learned out of the entire time that whenever that does happen and stuff, even if the player's like, sometimes the player will have like a bad mood or whatsoever and stuff, I just reject it throughout the games. But then you'll have the occasional like, oh, this player is like scouted and stuff like that, and one of the coaches is like, yeah, this guy's pretty good, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. He's someone you can build up. He starts off at 1 star, but also he has this potential of being like a 4.5 star player or whatsoever. So it takes a little time, but you can also like do this and do that. So like I was stating before, played about 2 seasons with Houston, right? Got to the AFC Championship game, but ended up losing it. But the funniest part about it is that as a head coach, I turned a bunch of heads from having a 2-win team and turning them into a potential Super Bowl contender. And so after the season ended, you get interest from a bunch of different teams, like from the AFC or the NFC. And as soon as the second season ended, I had a whole bunch of different options and stuff like that. And so I wanted to go to the NFC and see how that one performs. So there were a couple of teams that are available, but the one that I did choose was the New Orleans Saints because all the other ones were like unavailable in that regards. But what's hilarious about it is I spent 3 seasons playing in New Orleans and stuff like that. To I get through the playoffs and stuff, and I play in their version of the Super Bowl. They call the Retro Bowl, right? And funnily enough, I face off against my old team in Houston that I was a head coach of. So out of the blue, it's like I'm facing off against my previous team that I was a head coach of. And this is just random, you know? It's like I could not have asked for something better. And I end up winning with a last minute touchdown. And that type of feeling that it gives you that satisfaction to where if you have it on a dynamic setting, it basically the difficulty spikes up due to how good you are doing in the game. So, for example, the first couple of games, I was completely dominating because I had a little prior experience playing these type of football games. But then I would lose a couple of different games by stupid decisions. Like I would throw it to a receiver and it was not accurate enough and it would just get intercepted or something like that. I've had pick sixes. I mean, I've had games where I'd lose because of a missed field goal because of like how the field goal system is like it's just a moving arrow like up and down and stuff like throughout a little gap and you have to match it in between the gap in order to do a good kick. And there's actually possibilities to where if you are even slightly to the left or right, you get to donk it off the damn pole. It's either good or bad. But Retro Bowl is a game I would definitely recommend for somebody that wants an alternative to Madden, but they even though if there's like no other type of like the type of like NFL options and stuff, this is like probably one of my favorite games of the year so far because
How,
it scratched an
how
itch.
much is it?
I'm not entirely too sure, Tyler, but I think it's like under $10. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
It was
Okay,
on
I'll check it out then.
it was on sale, but I'm not sure of the price of it right now. That sale could have
Okay.
possibly ended, but I gotta say, man, it did release this year on the Nintendo Switch's eShop. And quite honestly, I think this is a game that you would enjoy because, for one, it's simple in terms of gameplay. It's not too complicated to understand and stuff. You're only controlling the offense. I mean, you're not doing like defensive type of stuff, but there is kickoff returns. You can switch them off if you don't like them. But yeah, I really had a fun time playing this stuff.
Yeah, it's $5.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's
All
five
right, cool.
dollars. Yeah, it's
Definitely check
definitely
it out then.
worth trying, especially if you're looking for a fun football game to play right now.
Yeah.
That's that. There's that. But I did have a chance to play a little bit of this, like the Splatfest this morning. Like
Oh
you
yeah.
had mentioned, you played about 2 games. I think I played like about four because
Okay.
I knew I wasn't going to get a lot of time playing through the Splatfest and stuff, so I wanted to try the new weapons. So for the first 2 matches, I played with a Splatana, and then the last 2 matches, I played with that compound bow. Let me tell you something, Tyler. That katana is actually pretty damn fun to play because you're just doing quick swipes and stuff like that. And I did it to an aspect to where I would get into a little rhythm where I do a little bit of quick swipes, and then I would just Just go around the squid form, and then all of a sudden it's like I would charge. It has like a little camouflage feature when you're on top of your ink when you're trying to charge, because you'll pop out of the ink thing that you're going through. You'll charge it and stuff, and then you can go through and like just do like a big old slash, and there's like a big old trail of ink that lead across and stuff. I played a couple matches with that. Those matches didn't go entirely all too well because of it was kind of uneven in terms of like some of the difficulty stuff. Like
Yeah.
the first match was more balanced. It was like off by maybe 2%. I think I lost by about 2%. And then the second matchup, I had a team that was matched up with where we were just completely dominated. I think I was the only one that was legitimately going through and trying to cover the back area of the damn thing, but yet all four members of the opposing team pretty much got through and was like completely like just were working
Yeah.
great together.
Downside of doing a demo is like you
Yeah.
just kind of get stuck with people that don't know how to play the game.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's probably some of them it's probably their first time, and others is they've been playing like thousands of hours on like Splatoon 2.
Yeah.
But
Thousands of hours of online testing.
oh yes. But the last two matches I had a chance to play with that compound bow, I really liked playing that bow. I mean, granted, I like playing archer classes inside of games like Destiny 2 because it's like that precision, that type of thing, and stuff like that. What I was doing though, there's this new mechanic inside of Splatoon 3 to where if you're in squid form, you're swimming around the ink, you can do like a quick turn, like a quick like. I compare this to how you do like a side jump, like in Mario 64, to where you go in one direction and then you quickly go in the other direction with a button combo, and the squid will basically do like a twirl and stuff or repel like ink shots like towards you and stuff. So I was using that type of like technique on top of like firing shots of the arrows, and I actually won two games with. I think I actually won two games with like that bow and arrow and stuff like that alongside my team. And let me tell you something: the last win that I actually did end up getting with my team was like about by 0.9%.
Nice.
It was so cool because all throughout that match and stuff, it's like my teammates were focused upon capturing the center portion of the map. Which, by the way, both those maps they were fine. They weren't like incredibly broken or they weren't incredibly like complicated or something. But I focused upon like covering around like the base and then all of a sudden just jumping off from an ink puddle, just doing a quick shot and then charging shots and stuff to where when I charge a shot and then jump and stuff, you'll fire the like the bow and arrow things like vertically and stuff like that. But if you're on the ground and charge, they'll do like horizontally, and you have like two forms of charge and stuff in order to do like cluster bombs and this and that. But they were pretty fun, and I quite honestly, after playing those games, I really feel excited about playing Splatoon 3 because it
Oh,
feels
good.
different enough for me to where I did play my fair share of Splatoon 2, went through that campaign, played a bit of the online matches and stuff, and then I tried playing Splatoon 3's Splatfest and stuff. And I feel like there's enough variety and enough things I want to try out to where, God, I'm so excited. A couple weeks from now, I'm going to be playing some Splatoon 3.
All right. Very cool. Yeah, like I said, I want to play a couple games. Um, I mean, like I liked it. It's good. I think if you want more Splatoon, this is definitely gonna scratch that
Yeah,
itch.
absolutely.
And I was thinking that weird thing like that direct we had a couple weeks ago for Splatoon. Like I'm really excited for more Splatoon, and I played this, and I liked it. Like like definitely, but like I feel like that's kind of scratchy itch for me. I don't know if it's gonna be like a day one buy for me. I feel like
Right.
it's kind of like playing the Splatfest is kind of like when your ex message you with the you up,
Uh
and you're just like you see the and you're like, well, maybe I am up, because we all know what the you up means.
huh.
Like, do I respond with hell yeah, or do I go in the bathroom and work one out and like, you know what, maybe I am asleep, and I feel like what, maybe I am asleep, Gables. Well, I'm not sold. I'm not completely like out on this game, but like I'm definitely there's nothing I have negative to say about this.
Well, yeah.
It's just a matter of if you want more of this, and it's just like, yeah, it comes down to like, if this is a game, if I feel like, I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up that weekend on September 9th, but like I could see if there's a you and stuff like that, like I have people I can regularly play this with, I'll buy it then.
Man, yeah,
But
that
if
would
this is
be
gonna be a
nice.
game where it's just gonna be like, cool, I'm gonna play it for like we're all playing it for a week. We play through the campaign. The campaign's fine or it's fun, and then we dabble in the online, and then we never play it again. Then I'm like, well, that's kind of a waste of $60. Is the way I'm gonna look at it. So.
Oh, by the way, I chose Team Scissors with Big Man and stuff like that. I'm like, that's the
I'm
only
very
option
proud
I'm
of you,
gonna go with.
Gables. It's the only option. So it's the only option. It's the only
It's so cool.
scissors.
You just all decked out all the red stuff and stuff like that, and it's
Mm.
like, yeah.
Did you scissor Big Stan?
Oh my gosh. But I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what though. There is one thing I will do when Splatoon 3 does come out. I'm turning off all the community like messages and stuff like that because I got tired
Oh
of reading
yeah,
that bullshit like after a couple minutes.
yeah. I can get that. It definitely. Sometimes it's pretty funny. Sometimes it's not though.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for us, Gables. If you listen to all this, you're still here with us. Appreciate it. Like I said, at the top of the show, please like, follow, subscribe, do all that. Look in the show notes. Find us in all the other places that you're on: Twitter, Twitch, uh, Facebook, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever. We're on those. Please like, follow, subscribe. Extra Life down there as well. Please check that out. Um, but until next time, I was Tyler.
I have been Colonel Gables. Until next time, everyone, find some games that you really love to play. And of course, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds podcast.
And hey, Gables,
Yeah.
scissor me, daddy ass.
I don't even know how to reply to that. Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.